So verse 7 says, where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. So now David, he's switching from God's knowledge, his omniscience, and he's starting to talk about God's presence. And we call this his omnipresence. And we'll describe a little bit more about what that means, but you guys can probably already guess. But anyway, so David, he starts off with a question, where can I flee from you, God? He says, where can I go from your spirit, and where can I flee from your presence? He's saying, God, where could I possibly go to get away from you? David isn't asking this question because he actually wants to get away from God. He's asking this question to just show how great God's presence is. So he asks this question, and he's asking it to imply that there's nowhere that you can get away from God. So then in these next verses, he's going to describe just extreme extents that you could go to try to get away from God, and how it wouldn't make one bit of difference. So verse 8 says, if I ascend into heaven, you are there. And you guys are like, well, that's easy. Of course God's in heaven. You'd hope so, right? That's an easy one. The next one he says is, if I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. Now this second part of the verse is a little different. It's kind of odd because you're thinking, God's in hell? God's presence is in hell? It seems like a weird question, but I want to go over two things. The first thing is the word that's used here. The word that's used for hell is actually a different word. This translation, this is a New King James, it uses the word hell, but other translations you might see will use the word Sheol. And that's a different word. And it actually had multiple meanings depending on what you were using it for. So another meaning that it could have would just be like the grave. Like Sheol could mean like just the grave, like as in death. Which of course you guys are thinking, well, yeah, God is present in death. That's the most amazing thing we know, right? That's what gives us hope, that we can still experience God's presence even after we leave this world. So yeah, even in death, God is present. So that's completely true.